So the goal of this lesson is to write equations and graph lines in slope-intercept form and write equations of lines that are parallel or perpendicular to a given line. The equation for slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M will be the slope, b is the y-intercept, and the y and x will be the coordinates of the given point. So slope is rise over run. Let's say you're given two coordinates such as x1 over y1 and x2 over y2. The slope would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The way to identify y-intercepts is by 1, finding the slope, 2, substituting the slope and coordinate into slope-intercept form, and 3, solving the equation for the value of b. Here are some example problems. Number 1, the equation for slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. In this equation, the variable m stands for the slope, and the variable b stands for the y-intercept. Just as a side note, the equation for point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1 parentheses. Number 2, identify the slope of the coordinates 3, 5, and 8, 20. So start by writing the original equation for slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then substitute the values, 20 minus 5 over 8 minus 3. Through simple addition, we get that it is 15 over 5, which we can then simplify to equals 3. And now we know that the slope is 3. We included 3 over 1 in parentheses to help you understand that the rise would be 3 and the run would be 1. Number 3, convert 5x minus 2y equals 20 to slope-intercept form. So the first thing we want to do is to isolate the y. So to do this, we are going to subtract 5x from both sides. And the new equation is negative 2y equals negative 5x plus 20. We also want the y completely by itself, so we're going to subtract or divide both sides by negative 2. And the new equations is y equals 5 over 2x minus 10. And this is in the slope-intercept form, 5 over 2 being the slope and negative 10 being the y-intercept. Number 4, given the coordinates 5, a and 11, 32, a, find the slope, b, find the y-intercept, and c, create an equation. So part A is finding the slope. So we write the original equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now we substitute the values, so 32 minus 8 over 11 minus 5. Subtract and get 24 over 6, and simplify equals 4. So now we have the slope as 4. B, find the y-intercept. So now we can substitute one of the coordinates and the slope into an equation, y equals mx plus b. So in y, you can substitute 8 equals mx, which is 4 times 5, plus b. Simplify, 8 equals 20 plus b. And by subtracting 20 from both sides, you can get that b equals negative 12. And since b represents the y-intercept, we now know that negative 12 is the y-intercept. Part C, create an equation. Now all we have to do is plug back in the slope and the y-intercept. So you have the equation y equals 4x minus 12. the equation y equals x minus 6. We will briefly pause the video so you can try graphing yourself. So this is what the graph should look like. As we explained earlier, you should start with the y-intercept, which is negative 6. And because it's only x, we know that the slope is 1 over 1. So from negative 6, we rise 1, and then we run 1. And then you continue the process forming a line by connecting the dots. Number 6, graph f of x equals 5 over 3x plus 4. F parentheses x means it's a function of x, so it's equivalent to saying y equals 5 over 3x plus 4. Graph the equation, and once again we'll pause it. So once again, because we are not given a coordinate, we started at the y-intercept, which is 4, 0. So we rose 5 units and then run 3 units. Because of the limited space, we couldn't go any further up, so what we did was we went down. We have to remember that 5/3 is also equal to negative 5 over negative 3. So what we did was we rised negative 5 and we run negative 3, and we connected the line. Number 7, write an equation of the line that has the given slope and y-intercept in slope-intercept form. We are given that m equals negative 5 and b equals 0. Because this is a pretty standard question, we will go straight to the answer. So starting with the original equation, y equals mx plus b, we substitute y equals negative 5x, or negative 5 over 1x plus 0. We can get rid of the 0, and we have y equals negative 5 over 1x. In order to write a parallel line to the given line, you must have the same slope. For example, y equals 3x plus 9. A parallel line would be y equals 3x plus 7 because they share a common slope of 3. The y-intercept must change because if it was the same 9, then it would simply be the same line. In order to do perpendicular lines, the slope must be the negative reciprocal. If the original equation was y equals 3x plus 9, the perpendicular lines would be y equals negative 1/3 x plus 7. Keep in mind that the y-intercept can be the same because whatever point the perpendicular line crosses the original line, it will still always be perpendicular.
Okay, so in number 8 with the points 2, 8, you're trying to find a line that is parallel to the equation y equals 3x minus 2. So what you're going to have to do is plug in the 2 coordinates that they give you. So you're going to plug in the y with the y, so it would be y minus 8 equals 3 and then x minus 2 because you have the 2. So you're going to be subtracting them. It's going to be, you're going to then add the 8 so that it goes to the other side, and the equation will be y equals 3x plus 2. Okay, for number 9, you have the coordinates negative 6, 2, and you're trying to find a perpendicular line to y equals negative 2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to plot y equals negative 2. So that would be, so this is negative 1 and this is negative 2. So you would plot that line, and then you would plot the line, you would do negative 6, 2. So it would be 6 and then 1, 2 right here, and you would plot that line.
The original equation gave you y equals negative 2, which is going to be a horizontal line seen here. So because it's a horizontal line and it's asking you to find a perpendicular line, the perpendicular line must be a vertical line right here. So your answer is going to be x equals negative 6.